All right, family, I want to pick up from my last video promoting my book, Awaken, The Secret Science of Spiritual Warfare. We went over the prism, right? The pyramid shape that the Illuminati uses as their symbolism with the all seeing eye in there. And let's go over that real quick. So, the prism is a structure that separates white light into what we call the visible light spectrum. Okay? And the prism is actually the prison of your soul, which is trapped in this world that we call the visible light spectrum, ruled by Lucifer or Satan, whose name is the bearer of light. He's talking about the visible light spectrum that we call our reality, the matrix, right? That's what it's concerning, the physical realm, the illusion created by Lucifer, the light bearer, by using the visible light spectrum to trick our five senses. So this is the visible light spectrum ruled by Lucifer. As you can see, it's just a sliver, less than 1% of all energy in the universe. So we are literally deaf, dumb, and blind outside of this small sliver of energy that Lucifer rules. As you can see over here on the red part, it's big looping uh, waves, right? So these are longer wavelengths, which represent a slower, lower vibration. Okay, so you can see on the left in the purple, you have shorter wavelengths that are up and down more rapidly, and that symbolizes higher frequency energy. So, lower frequency of energy, the red, orange, and yellow, that's where fear dwells. Okay? Then the higher frequencies with the green at the heart chakra on up to the purple crown is where love vibration is held. We have the gift from God that gave us free will to choose our reality. Are we going to live in fear, shame, and guilt, or love, appreciation, and forgiveness? Heaven or hell? So, as you can see, the chakra system is based on these vibrations of colors that Lucifer uses to manipulate mankind. See, down here is the root chakra, right? That is ruled by survival. Man as an animal, only interested in food, shelter, clothing, transportation, avoiding pain, and seeking pleasure. That's basically 90% of humanity. Then we have the sacral chakra, which is orange. That is ruled by pleasure without a moral compass to guide it. Then above that, we have the solar plexus chakra, that is yellow, and that's man's thirst for power. Okay, those are the three lower chakras: red, orange, and yellow, which is the same color as the element fire, and fire is referred to as hell. Okay, so this is what hell really is. It's the low vibration of shame, guilt, and fear held in the lower three chakras of man's consciousness. That's that slower, lower vibration. Okay. Above the solar plexus is the green. That is the heart chakra, love. This is where healing takes place. This is where forgiveness and humility and the ego death takes place so you can live in a higher consciousness of man, or man as a spiritual being having a human experience. And that is heaven. Okay? And the reason why hell is eternal, because that's where addicts are. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, thinking you're going to get a different result. So it's also the definition of what? If we look right here, it's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same result. And here we have a severe mental illness or derangement that impairs a person's ability to function or distinguish reality from fantasy. You are falling for the illusion that Lucifer has set up for you. And down below at the Merriam-Webster definition, insanity is broadly defined as a severe, disordered state of mind. It encompasses conditions where an individual is mentally unsound or suffers from a serious mental illness that disrupts their cognitive functions. Okay, the biggest illness of mankind is mental illness. We are all insane because we are all trying to follow the so-called celebrities, the so-called people are in power, the wealthy, entertainers, and so on. And these are the worst people in regards to their mental health that we can have. First of all, they're malignant narcissists. That is the personality of Satan or Lucifer itself. That's why they are glorified in this realm. So again, here we have the chakra system with the 7 levels of consciousness of man. You can descend to into hell, the lower 3, or you can ascend to in a state of mind of heaven, which is the upper 4. And again, these are the vibrations or frequency of each chakra level. As you see, red representing fear has a slower, lower loop in its frequency, a slower, lower vibration, as does orange and the yellow chakras. When we hit green, we hit that 528 megahertz frequency where things start to speed up, and that's where healing takes place. This is why Dorothy in the movie The Wizard of Oz sings a song somewhere over the rainbow, right? Beyond this realm that Lucifer has controlled with the light spectrum or the illusion of light. And we can see somewhere over the light spectrum or over hell, somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Okay? You are living in an illusion. Here we have the character Jesus in the religion Christianity holding the heart chakra, telling you how to get to heaven. Getting to heaven is not believing in this character, but it's activating the heart chakra, which is the first level of higher consciousness. This is how you escape hell. Another thing about Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz is she has a dog named Toto. Toto literally means gift from God. So Toto is really the anthropomorphic version of the god Anpu in the Kemetic mythology or civilization. And Anpu is the one who guides you in the afterlife to heaven. Toto guides Dorothy down the Yellow Brick Road in her search for becoming enlightened. This is who Toto represents, the god Anpu, the black jackal, otherwise known as Anubis. He's the one that leads us in the afterlife in search of going to heaven. You see, he's holding this individual's hand, guiding him to heaven. And that's what Toto did for Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Here is another version of the character Jesus in Christianity. Again, activating the heart chakra. That's why it's enlightened, right? Also, he's always depicted, not always, but most of the time depicted in red or white or red and blue. Red and blue represents the activation of the DNA inside of you, represented by the red and blue colors, or the red and white colors. Why is this character represented in red and white? So this is who Jesus represents, the god Heru in ancient Kemet. You see, Heru wears the red and white crown. That's why Jesus was depicted in the red and white robes. Heru is where we get the word hero from. The hero will sacrifice itself for a cause greater than itself. Okay? Always uplifting the people and doing whatever it takes to free them, right? Heru is also the son of the god Asar. Asar is the father who runs heaven, and the only way to heaven is through the son who sits at the right hand of his father. They're talking about Heru, or they're talking about the hero in you and the frequency that you have to raise up to in order to reach the Father. Nobody gets to the Father but through Heru. You have to be the hero in your own movie. We are just getting started, y'all. For more information, check out my book, Awaken, The Secret Science of Spiritual Warfare. And you can get that only on my website or Amazon, www.tccarrier.com. Peace.